And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Never Been Defeated podcast. This is episode 5. Look, this is Dylan Garcia here. I know it's been a minute since I've done a podcast episode. There's just been so much going on, and when I do the podcast, I really want to touch deeply, personally, and really connect with you as the viewer and the listener. So I've got to really be in that mindset. And today, there's just been so much developing. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from everything that's going on and take an outside view of everything, and not just having a viewpoint of being directly involved. And I haven't checked in with you guys for a while. I'll start off by talking about when I was in Las Vegas for Latin Grammy Week. Now, that was an experience. That was, I hadn't been to Las Vegas in a long time. So just arriving to Vegas and the fact that I drove to, shout out to Victor Urrutia and the RYM Network and Vanessa Khan, Waji, her husband, and the crew, Mary as well. Don't forget about her, Mary from Texas, and all the people that I got to meet and the people that helped us out. When we were doing, what we were doing was we were doing interviews. I went there with the media as RYM Network, but I also was booked for a showcase that the RYM Network was put on. The showcase was diversity in Latin music. And so first day we get there, and it just so happened, we're having trouble trying to get our room. But a fan of mine, I won't say her name. She likes her private life. She didn't even want me posting a photo with her on social media tagged. I ran into her, and she's been a fan of mine for the last couple of years. So when I ran into her, I explained the situation, and she's just like, "Oh my God, Dylan Garcia's here at my casino. Like, how cool is this?" And I'm just like, "How cool is this? I know, right? Can you help us?" And so sure enough, she pulled through. She was a manager on the floor, and then she got us in contact with the operations manager at the hotel. And next thing I know, they're like, "Welcome, Mr. Dylan Garcia. We have upgraded. We're having a situation with your room, so we've upgraded you to the penthouse suite." And it's like, okay, right on. This is pretty cool. I haven't been to Vegas. This is happening. Everyone's stoked because time was everything. Time was of the essence on this trip, because everything was booked solid. We were on a certain time schedule with everything. So boom, we get our room, we open the room. There's like a billiards table, full on living room, a bar. Like, it was sick. And so we get set up. People started arriving. It's like go mode. We set up the media suite so people could do their interviews, and it was go mode. It was like there was no taking no breaks. It was like boom. I got to really, really see another side of things, how the media works. And so we're people are lining up. I even actually saw my last publicist. I won't say their names, but they fucking dropped me. They dropped me like a bad habit. So like, I got bad vibes from one of the women, like giving me dirty looks, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like trying to be cool, but I'm getting dirty looks, and it's like, what the fuck, man? You know what? Like, I don't like that kind of shit, to be honest. Like, you do good, you do your end of the things, and then sometimes, like, I don't know, shit just happens, and the people usually that do you dirty are the ones that hold a grudge against you. And so it's like, whatever. It's like, you got to work with me anyways. You're here with your client. And so we're just knocking them out, doing these interviews. People are coming in. It was mainly a majority of Victor, because he was doing all the interviews in Spanish. And so we had a lot of interviews coming in. I'm getting people ready, like, as they come into the media suite. I'm like keeping them, keeping them entertained before they go in and do their interview. I'm going downstairs, picking up people, because it was kind of like a private, exclusive shit we were doing. It was awesome. And we didn't finish. So we were booked with interviews from 2 in the afternoon until 10 p.m. at night. So 8 hours nonstop, man. No break. We had it catered. We had some tacos come through. Definitely a great experience. The highlight of my trip in Vegas, and we did, so the following day we finished up. It was a late night, Vegas, stayed up, had a couple beers around the casino, got some sleep, woke up, and it's like, boom, I wake up at 7 a.m. and it's like, it's go time. I got a show. My call time was 7:30 in the morning to be at the Flamingo. Trying to just make sure I got enough sleep, especially with the medication that I take. It knocks me out for a couple hours. make sure I was good. I got to the venue at the Flamingo. Shout out to the people at the Flamingo. I'm trying to think of the name of the place where we did the showcase. I performed. There was a lot of great artists. I had already met a lot of great artists that night, the night before when we were doing the interviews. But then at the showcase, got to chop it up with these people. And the thing was, nobody knew I was going to perform. That was the coolest thing. Like, nobody knew. Everyone thought I was just there with the fucking media. So then everyone's performing. I'm meeting people. You know what I mean? I'm doing my thing, dress fly. Like, boom, we're in Vegas, baby. I do my Happy Aloha video. And then I invited a guy by the name of Joe Z, another artist. He's, locally from the area. The plan was he was going to perform and then I was going to come after him. So he performed, he did his thing. And then it was like they said somebody else is going to perform. But then all of a sudden I hear my music. So I fucking snatched the mic and I'm coming down the walkway to the stage. And I'm fucking getting people clapping, getting people hyped up, like doing my thing, man. It was like, woo, Vegas, baby. And I performed my new song that's coming out. My new song comes out Thursday at 9 p.m. on the West Coast, Living in the Fast Lane. So that's what I performed. I figured my game plan was to perform this song in Vegas, see what kind of reaction I get, and release it afterwards. And the reaction I got, man, because nobody was doing funk music. It was a lot of, Latin stuff, a lot of different Latin genres, artists that were there and the people that were there to watch. But people really loved my performance. Just so happened Mr. Lean Like a Cholo, Kilo, happened to be at the showcase and he saw me perform. And I know him. We had a cup of coffee together one time at Starbucks to chop it up about music and plans and just stuff, just to get, it was a knowledge session for me, just to try to learn as much as I could from somebody that cracked the code, got a hit record. And, so he's like, Dylan, dog, I know we had coffee, homie, and I know you did music, but I didn't know you got down like that. And he's like, hey, if you could do the same thing, roll with me tomorrow, be early in the morning. So the following day, the day of the Grammys, early in the morning, late night, I got a party that I'm going to be at. We're going to do bottle service, we'll chill, and then we're going to go and I'm going to bring you on stage at this one club. So it's like, dang, because that was the original game plan. Somebody was going to see me perform at the showcase, and I was going to get a chance to perform at an after party. That was the game plan. That's how it went down. See, sometimes you got to put these things in your mind, visualize it like this is what's going to happen. And you can manifest it if you show up and perform and do what you got to do. And that's literally how it happens. So the next day I split from the group. I needed to get some rest. I was going to perform that night. And so I had the rest of the day off. They went to go cover the Latin Grammys. They did a hell of a job. I'm so proud of Vanessa, RYM Network, Victor, Mary. You guys did a great job. It was great working with you guys. But it was my time to shine. And the funny thing was, especially about the showcase, nobody knew that I was like a performer. So everyone was like, holy shit, this guy's performing too. It was a really surreal moment in my lifetime. And, so I rest up. My great friend, one of the most inspiring, motivating friends that I got, his name is Bernard Rackley. We met down in San Diego in 2004. And maybe it was 2003. I don't remember. But we had linked up and we've been friends ever since. And, he's a big part of my success because, he's always trying, he's like fucking trying to just better himself, and it inspires me and motivates me for me to be better. Cause I remember the guy that I used to be, I remember that guy, and I'm doing what I can to not be that guy anymore. Not that there was anything wrong with me, but that was just a stage of my life. And I'm just constantly trying to grow, personal development. And so he just happened to move down to Vegas. I hadn't seen him since 2018. He saw me when I was on tour, and I had a tour stop in San Diego. So had a great dinner with him, man. It was good to see him. His son, Benjamin, man, a lot of love. Out to my boy, Bernard Rackley, man. He's got me in a lot of these crazy habits and routines, but it's all, I used to think it was crazy, but these changes that I made in my life, man, contributed to all my success. And so I link up with Kilo later on that night after I had a wonderful dinner, beautiful dinner. I had a filet mignon. I had truffle fries. Like, dude, oh God, it was such a good dinner. That filet mignon tasted like chocolate fudge melting in my mouth, man. I'm telling you, you ever get a chance, go to Tender in the Luxor, great steakhouse. I got to sit and chop it up with my boy. He was real proud of me, and it's because I started doing music. He did music back when I lived down in San Diego, and it was just so inspiring. And like, man, I want to do this too. Not like Not like this is cool, but more like I could do this shit, you know, like I could really do this. And he's always pushed me, and glad I got to see him. You know, so he took off, I take off, take a cab to Planet Hollywood. Now, be in mind, I'm by myself in Vegas. So I'm already a little paranoid as it is, just normal me. But I was a little paranoid because I was alone in Vegas. You know what I mean? I was alone in Vegas. And, so I take the cab, I'm dressed all flashy, like I'm dressed like an artist, you know what I mean? But I'm out there solo. So I was just trying to be safe, make sure I got from place to place safely. Just trying to play it safe being out there, especially by myself. Link up with Kilo. And, you know, he's got a noticeable face. And so when we were at the Planet Hollywood waiting for our, you know, we're walking around the casino, you know, waiting for our table to be ready, you know, at this nightclub. I think it was called Koi. But we're walking around, and you could just, it's a different feeling when you're with people like that. It's just a different, people look at you different. Somebody had mentioned that to me in the morning, just see how it is. And, you know, because it wasn't just like I'm just this random guy Dylan in Vegas. Like this guy Dylan, he's hanging out with Kilo, and like, you know what I mean. And it was just a whole different kind of vibe that I've never experienced. But I'm not knocking it. You know, it was just something new. And so we head up to Koi, we get our table, we hang out there. I wasn't drinking at this point. I stopped drinking. I had drinks at dinner, and I stopped because I knew I was going to perform, and I wanted to perform at my best. And I don't perform if I'm drinking or if I'm drunk. That's just not what I do. I try to keep it as professional as possible when it comes to performing. And so linked up with him, and we take off, and then we head over to the nightclub that we're going to be performing at. And we get there and do our thing, and shout out to everyone that was there. Yadira, Diana Corso, who else was there? Tasha, Angelica, the females that were at the showcase that came through and supported because they found out I was going to perform at La Jolla. So it was just a great vibe. You know, there ended up being backup dancers there or you know, go-go dancers. I asked the owner of the club if I could have the dancers when I go perform. He's like, no problem. Let's make it happen. I rocked it. And it was just like, at that point, it was like, okay, now I got to get back to my hotel. We're way off the strip. You know what I mean? We're way off the strip, so I'm just trying to make sure I get back that night to my room safely so I can get home from Vegas to Oxnard safely back home to my wife. And everything just worked out, man. Came back, and the bad part about it was when I came back, I got sick. So I wake up on Saturday, I came home on Friday, and I'm expecting that I'm going to go to LA the next day to perform at the event for Herds Media, because it was Ruth's birthday. Ruth is the other half of Mario from Herds Media, and it was her birthday celebration. So I was supposed to be there and perform. And Saturday, wake up, and I had posted that I was going to be there. Like, I felt really bad. I don't like letting people down and shit, but I felt really bad. And I wake up, I'm like sick. I'm like dead sick. Like, wake up, like, oh my God. Like in the movies, like in the movie Goonies, when the fucking big bag of rocks drop and shit, man. I felt like some big bag of rocks dropped on me, and it was just like, it just sucked out all the life out of me, man. So here I am coming back from Vegas. I'm in just kind of just locked in bed, and everyone's posting about Vegas. Everyone's hyping it up, and I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking sick. I messed up. I was supposed to go to the show, like, and I didn't think it was COVID. I thought I was just sick. But then the next day, it's like, my mom's like, no, you got to take a test for COVID. I had like one COVID test because I took a test when I came home and tested negative. So I took a test on Sunday. Boom, my test positive. And at that point, I was just dead. I only got up to take a shower, and I just got back in bed. I was like, I didn't even feel like I was even alive or awake. Like, the time just passed by. And then I wake up on Tuesday, and I finally get out of bed. Like, dang. That shit, finally, that part of it passed. Like, felt like death, man. So grateful that I came out of it. And like, and you know, because we lost some people in my family because of COVID. My son lost his grandpa because of COVID. And, you know, finally get to it. I was working on trying to do a collaboration with this one specific female artist that I was trying to do. And it fell through, you know, not a problem with that. All respects and all love. But I've been working on this track, That Girl. And so as soon as I started feeling better, I'm in the studio trying to like come up and get this idea done. Like I said, I got my idea down. The song's dope. It ended up being a solo record. I'm stoked because I'm going to perform it for the first time at the Whiskey that I'm performing at. So now I'm finally getting better. The moment, it took 11 days to finally test negative. So I'm finally getting better. The moment I test negative, I'm like, boom, I'm out the door. I'm working. I go back to work because I needed to make money. Money ends were low at that point because nobody was working. My wife was sick too. And, so it was just like game on. And, Vegas was a learning experience. Vegas made me learn on a lot of different levels about different people when it comes to working with people. It made me learn like not everyone's like me. Everyone's their own way. Not everyone's going to show the love that I show. Everyone's different. And it really gave me a chance to see that everyone's different, especially meeting these artists coming from all over the world. I'm telling you, these artists that I met, beautiful voices. Some of the artists that I met out there was just so incredible. Like listening to these people singing, like this is what they do. Cause it made me feel like I'm here and this is what I do. And this is what I meant to do. And I'm here at the Grammys working, talking with my peers, that were peers. Like when you're in high school, those are your peers, my musical peers, people that are really pushing, people nominated for Grammys. Like people at that level was the most fucking incredible sensation. Nobody repping like, I'm from fucking Colombia, fuck you, Argentina. No. It was all unity because of music, like people respectful of other people's creative works. And it was the most inspiring thing. And that's why as soon as I felt like I get better, I got in the studio because it's just like, man, I gotta, not only do I gotta keep up, I gotta show up and show out. So now, fast forward, I was hanging on to an email that I had gotten from the Whiskey about booking for January 4th. So I don't remember if this happened while I was in Vegas or happened before Vegas, but I'm keeping this little invitation right here as my card, my poker card, you know what I mean? Like my card that I'm going to win with. And, so working in the studio, trying to get shit done. I finally reached out on last Sunday. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. Reach out, left a message, followed up the next day. They got back with me. And shout out to the Whiskey for being so easy to work with too, man. You guys, that was easy peasy, good business. And so I sent an email. They got back to me, checked out my stuff, and it was like, hey, would you want to perform with Afroman? And I'm like, wait a minute, like the Afroman? Like, is there any other Afroman? And I'm like, I'm in. Let's do it. This is the greatest thing. Like, not to categorize my music, but my music is fun. My music is about having a good time, positive, inspiring, talk about beautiful women and the stuff I like to sing and rap and make my songs about. And, so, I really learned a lot ever since the middle of November up until now. So the last month and a half has been one of the most learning processes of my life. To not hold grudges with people, to always do your best, always be ready for an opportunity, even if you don't have an opportunity, just in case an opportunity comes. So you're always ready. Got my songs done yesterday. I mean, in the studio, like I've been working like my job, putting in studio and time in the studio, like just like trying to make ends meet with a little bit of extra so I can enjoy my life and, working hard and just trying to take care of my family. Christmas came. And I just want to mention, shout out to my son Santiago. When I took him camping over the summer, we went to Kings Canyon. And it was a chance to unplug. There was no cell service out there, so it gave me a chance to really bond and connect with my son in ways that I hadn't before, because it wasn't like he was occupied with his phone. You know how kids are. He's only 12. He's going to be turning 13 this coming year. So he's in junior high already. He's going to become a teenager, but he's the biggest kid in his school. He's like, this kid is big. He's like 5'7". I got a really tall, handsome son. But when we were talking, he was telling me, like, when we were out there camping, like, hey, Pops, like, wouldn't it be so cool to make music together? And I'm pissed because I want to show him Kid Frost and Scoop DeVille, but there's no sellout, no cell service. And I'm telling him, the people that I've worked with their dads and done stuff. And I said, it's possible, son. And he's already in band class. He plays saxophone in his band class. And now he's actually in the lead band class. So he's really doing good with music. But I told him, I said, how would you like if I bought you for Christmas something to start making music? Because he's like, Dad, I would love that. And I don't know what happened from the time we went camping to the time up until now. Communication was kind of cut. His mom's fighting with me, all that other stuff. I'm just trying to do my best. But Pops came through. I did get him a MIDI controller, a little basic one, a really easy one to work with, so he could start making beats. Man, I kept my word on that. That was one of the most important things. I think ending the year this year, especially with Christmas, is I kept my word on a lot of shit. I kept my word. I kept my word that I would take care of my family. I kept my word that I was gonna, come through for my son so he could do what he's dreaming of doing. Like, that was like one of the most important things that I really took from this Christmas season. Because last year I didn't really give a fuck about Christmas. I was just working my ass off, just trying to make sure everyone got a gift and just trying to fucking survive. You know what I mean? Especially after COVID and there was no more fucking unemployment, just free money. Like, you had to fucking hustle and make your shit happen. And, I learned a lot this year, and I'm just grateful. So this probably, I don't know, I'm going to start doing this more commonly. I'm going to start specifically setting time aside so I could do my podcast. But that's the update. That's how everything went down. I also will be starting the year. I have been discussing now with my wife for this past year about writing a book. And I want to write a book where I'm sharing stories about my life, really personal stuff that has gone down in my life. So you can really tap into, if you read the book, you really tap in to see who I am as a person. But not only things that I went through, but the ways I was able to bounce back and overcome. And I'll leave you with this before I sign off. Remember, you are enough. Eres suficiente. Remember that. So I'm out. I got nothing left to say. I believe happy Aloha Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dylan Garcia with the Never Been Defeated podcast. I'm out.